going on, man? How you doing tonight? You hanging in there, Cannon? You hanging in there, man? I've lost you, buddy. Got no audio. Hello. Sorry, guys. I'm having a little technical difficulty. Cannon's been having some issues with his internet, and I think it's affecting us right now. Hello, hello. Yeah, it's definitely Cannon. Hey, Cannon, you there? I guess Cannon's going to leave us for a minute, guys, and he's going to go ahead and reboot. He's been having some issues with his internet today. But anyway, I'm going to cover some stuff that we need to cover while we're waiting on him. My local chapter of the AFA asked me if I would make an announcement for them. So here we go. We got a fence installation school, May 11th through May 13th. It's going to be in Baton Rouge at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Baton Rouge on I-10 East. If you need more information, hit up the AFA, hit me up. I can give you that info. They're going to be doing 2 of the 5 disciplines, wood fence and chain link fence. They got a gate automation school, May 12th and the 13th. Please note this is a condensed version of the school. It will be classroom based. There will be no hands-on instruction offered. So got a lot going on in Baton Rouge. Hopefully we can get some people and get them registered, man. Early bird registration for members, $600. Regular registration for members, $650. Non-members, early bird registration is $900, and regular registration is $950 for non-members. So, sorry guys, I didn't practice that. Hopefully, Cannon will get back tonight. We have Brian Fredrickson from the FWA. Great guy, man. I've been spending a little time with him, and we've just been talking fence. Huh, Brian?
Hey, Dan. Yeah, no, I'm excited to be here. One thing we know is fence. We love it. You know?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm sitting here trying to share to all these groups, make sure everybody gets to watch the show. Anyway, so man, tell me before we get into the FWA, tell me a little bit about yourself. Where you live, where you from, what you do, what the name of your business is. If you want to talk numbers, what y'all are putting out.
Yeah, well, like a lot of us, I started off in the fence business with family. So I think most of us were born into it. So I don't think it's something you go through school and you say, hey, I want to be a fencer one day. It's something that was probably taught to you by your father, right, your brother, your uncle, or something like that. So I think one of the first jobs I remember having was putting nuts and bolts together in my uncle's shop and riding around in those old work trucks. And I think I learned to drive in a fence truck, on one of the job sites, like a lot of us. And that's it's just how we grew up, and it's just you're born into it. And I stuck with it. And the next thing you know, I was doing sales. And every time I tried to get out of it, something happened. I just get drugged back in. And it's just, I think we've all left it 50 times. And, every time I've ever left the fence industry, I ended up sleeping in my car at a park, showering at the truck stop with some homeless people or something. And it's it's my life. There's no way out of it. And I love it though, which is, I guess it's a good thing. But now, since then, about good 20 some years ago, I started Budget Fence. And then grew that up, from just one truck, same kind of thing. We, like everybody else starts. And then now we branched off into Las Vegas Fence, and we did a lot of access controls where we were distributing those and shipping those around the country. And luckily, I have the freedom now to focus on things like the association and stuff. And we're fortunate enough to have a good 5, rotates between 5 to 10 trucks at any given moment that's out there building fence. So I'm just fortunate that Las Vegas has been, a place where I found that can be a home, and I dug my heels in. And looks like we got.
Yeah, man. I don't have the same story. I just kind of got into it on accident, Yeah. But total accident, man. Total complete accident.
Yeah.
I see Cliff is here. He said Cannon could build a cantilever gate but he can't turn the volume up. He can make TikToks, but he can't turn the volume up. So, Cannon, you back?
What's up, guys? Listen, I'm back, and I'm on my phone. How's this working?
Oh, it's way better.
Yeah, it's working, man. Shoot, let's do it.
Man, this is crazy. You know, I think I'm learning something about this streaming deal. Something unique. I'm gonna use the Joe Everest analogy here. I'm a fence guy. I'm not a tech guy, right? And for some reason, it takes me a while. Sometimes as fence guys, it takes us a while to draw a solid conclusion, right? Every Wednesday night around 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, I start having problems with my internet. Okay? And I think I'm starting to draw a conclusion because right now, this is what I see happening. I'm using my computer right here to stream this show right now. Okay? It's doing this thing. But I'm on my phone as a guest on the show. And I think I might have just figured this out. I have to have two computers, one to host and one to participate, maybe. You see what I'm saying? I think it's too much. It's just too much for it. You know what I mean?
This is way better than it was. Yeah, clear as a bell.
If I can build a damn cantilever gate, I'll tell you that.
I watched you work on it for a half hour, and you finally switched to the phone.
Yeah, man. I'm excited. So, have I missed anything? Have y'all even talked about anything of relevance or importance yet? Have you talked about Brian's TikTok account yet?
Well, actually, the show's over, man. We're done.
Yeah, man.
Brian, man, we really appreciate having you. It was great.
No, I'm glad you did. Yeah.
Anyway, no, we haven't gotten to that. We just kind of told us a little bit about himself and how he got into the fence business and how he started Budget Fence, and he probably realized that wasn't the greatest name to have because everybody wanted the best price for Budget Fence, huh?
Yeah. It went two different ways. One, we'd get a lot of calls, but the second, you're right. Sometimes they'd be like, I thought I was calling Budget Fence. What is the deal with this price? And then if anything went wrong, I guess that's why they call you Budget Fence. So I mean, it just went every direction.
You couldn't win on that one, that's for sure.
So I've always thought about the guys that call themselves Lifetime Fence or something similar, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's got to eventually bite you in the butt, you know?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So man, we're going to talk FWA. Brian is, what are you, Brian? You the self-proclaimed president of the FWA?
I am. I mean, nobody else is claiming it, so it wasn't a hard fight.
So man, tell us why did you start the FWA?
Well, we started. It was to get invited to this show. Are you kidding me? I've been watching you guys.
Yes.
Well, the cool thing was to come on here so I could watch Dan. Dan put some eye drops in and follow Cannon into some rabbit holes. You know, that was it. You know? Yeah. Once this is over, the website's going down. There's no point in me continuing on.
Yes. Well, ironically, we started this show so that you might one day start the FWA and come on this show. This is crazy.
It's nuts, isn't it?
Yes.
No, but really, I mean, it was. I started it. It wasn't even on purpose. It was. I don't know if you. Obviously, a lot of you guys are on the Fence Industry Only page, and I started that because I had a few questions I wanted to ask, and I was hoping to get at the time people on the West Coast, because on the West Coast, people just aren't connected like they are back where you guys are, and everybody's helping each other, and it's a community, and you're not afraid to share information, and the companies that you work with in your community they're not the bad guys, they're not the enemy. In fact, you'll say, hey, go to this place, you might get a better price on materials. Hey, let me share some forums. Let me, you better cover yourself, and it's a connection we don't have on this side. So, and all the people in the groups were from back there as well. So I started this one, although it's now grown through the whole country, luckily as well. And then it just kind of boomed on the Fence Industry Only. Then I started thinking, well, hell, we got all these people in here and they want the information. They want, they want to communicate more, and they're tired of just seeing all the ads and everybody just, all the manufacturers from China and so on, just posting one after another. Yeah. How many ads for razor ribbon and barbed wire can you look at before you're just like going, I'm not even going to scrolling,
How many Chinese aluminum ads can you look at?
Yeah. So you want to see pictures of your work and their work. And I started rotating that cover page a bunch, showing all of your guys' work, because it's interesting to see what everybody else is doing. And then I thought, well, we have all these people in here. Let's get them connected a little bit more. And I didn't even know these other associations existed, to be honest.
So you had the fence industry group, right?
Yeah.
And what I like about that group is you literally post everybody else's work.
Yep.
And you're just like, whether it's good, whether it's bad, hey, post. And people are seeing fence that they've never seen before.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's some stuff on there I've been like, oh man, that's cool. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
So I like how you do that. And I guess that was your way of trying to bring everybody together, I see Cliff asked about the tornado. Man, we did great. Tornado was like 45 minutes from us, like east of New Orleans. I'm north of New Orleans. So.
Oh, you guys getting weather?
Yeah, we got weather.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, I love how you do that in the fence industry.
Yeah,
a lot of that
out on that and said that, and believe it or not, a lot of these pictures I post, when people start tearing them apart, I thought the fence looked nice. So I'm not even. I'm thinking, man, this is a nice looking fence across somebody's backyard. So I share it over there, and then like 30 people tear this guy apart, and I'm like, man, I feel like a jerk now. I mean, I wasn't.
Well, the funny thing about it is you're on TikTok, and I hear this from Cannon all the time. If Cannon wears safety glasses, if Cannon wears safety glasses, he gets 1,000 inboxes and comments about how he should wear safety glasses. So then his next video, he wears safety glasses, and he gets 1,000
gloves
about and gloves, and he gets comments about, oh, you must not be a real seasoned fence guy because you're wearing safety glasses.
Oh,
you can't win. You can't win.
You're gonna lose out here.
I used to say you're not a real fencer until you lose a finger. That's how when I would interview a guy. Whenever I was interviewing a new guy, and I look over and he's missing a finger, I go, that guy's gonna work out.
He's gonna work out great.
He's not loud. He's been doing it a while.
Hey, so Keith Pay says that he likes Chinese checkers, and Aaron Cochran, he says, Brian, I like your TikTok videos. He added some extra letters there, but hey, that's cool, man. I like your TikTok videos, and I just want to say, like, man, you have pushed this whole thing to the next level, Brian. There's guys out here like myself who's like, man, let's start a fence and contracting company. Think we can do that? Yeah. And then there's guys like you, who's like, hey, let's start a fence contracting company. Let's change the name in it and be successful. Yeah. Oh, let's start a Facebook community called the Fence Industry Only page, and people are joining it, and they get in the fights, and they get in the arguments, and it's awesome, Yeah. And then you're like, hey, let's start a freaking association, and you do it, and people sign up. It's like, you really push it. What's next, Brian? What's next, man?
Well, we're gonna do a show. There's no doubt. I mean, it's gonna be a show coming 2023. We're just figuring out how to make it work. And it's just in the way I don't want to lose the momentum that we all have, and that the excitement everybody has. We're all looking to just get connected, and I want to connect everybody. I don't want to just connect the people that can afford to go, to Florida or afford to go to New York or something. And I want to figure out what we got to do to connect everybody, whether you got one truck or 50 trucks. And I want them to feel as included when they go, to one of our events, or even in the groups, or even in some of the, because the FWA Live, where we're trying to create our own little social platform that you can go in there that kind of just gets rid of a lot of the other ads and things. I want everybody to feel, connected and help and help be part of this community that grows.
Yeah, it'd be good, man. Like AFA's having their show in Seattle. You do yours on the East Coast.
Yeah. Rotate it. Yeah. Something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
That way everybody gets a chance to get some fencing in.
Yeah.
And the vendors are going to love it. They're going to get double the exposure.
Yeah. Yeah. And
That's
different people.
my opinion.
It's different people. I mean, not one show and not one association would fit everybody. So, I mean, I'm a firm believer that if you truly want to be part of this, you'd have to join a couple of them, 2 or 3 of them, because everybody has a different vision. Everybody's, no matter what, you could change a board out of any association or any company, and 2 years later, it's a different company or a different association. I mean, we're just going to go in a different direction and lead it, unless they've got such strict rules that it never changes. you know.
So you said something about a vision. Do you have a vision statement or like what's the mission here? Do you have a defined
Well,
statement?
first, we need to find out how we can join this thing.
Yeah.
Oh, Dan.
Look, we got a format. You didn't read the email.
Oh,
No.
shoot.
I had it pulled up on my phone. Dan, I had it pulled up on my phone, and I had to use my phone for this.
How do we join? I printed it out.
Yeah, all right.
How do we join? Before we
Hang
do
on.
that, how do we join?
Hang on, Cannon. I'm Bluetoothing you the information right now.
Yes, I got you.
You got it? Okay. Hey, it's pretty easy. You just go to fenceworkers.org and you can hit the join. There's a couple different spots. Hit the join button. And what's unique about this one is you have access to the same information whether you can afford to join or not. So get an individual membership. I want the workers in there too. I want the guy that's the helper inside the truck coming in there. And that guy hopefully one day is going to move beyond that, become a foreman, or even he's going to need some assistance, or maybe he's going to decide he wants to, he has a family and a child, and he wants to start a fence company, depending on where he's at. We want to be with him along the way on that. So if you can't afford to join and become a business, if you're not a business or a service provider or a supplier, don't pick one of those memberships. Go for the individual one where it doesn't cost you anything and get access to all the forums. And before you go out there, and if you're in one of those states where you don't need a contractor's license, out here it's a little harder. I mean, I hear some of the stories where they start off and you just one day got a business and you started saying I do this and I do this and I do this, and fencing you kind of go into. You can't do that out here. You got to literally take 6-8 months and a lot of money to get a license. And actually credit reports and background checks, and it's a lot of work. So I want that guy though back there to be able to sign up, get the forms. I don't want him out there just writing on a piece of paper or going to Office Depot and getting a generic contract and not covering himself in the legal aspects of it, or at least understanding that there is more to it. So download the forms, get some contracts and work orders. So we want to work with them. So if they want to do that, or if somebody just wants the access and just wants to communicate and get a little bit of networking in, just join and just get the basic membership, and doesn't cost you anything.
So go to FenceWorkers. It's not Fence Workers Association. It's fenceworkers.org.
Fenceworkers.org.
Fenceworkers.org. Join, and you're trying to build an environment online that is probably similar to the Facebook groups that we're already in.
Yep.
But you're trying to take it to the next level, make it a little more user friendly.
Yeah.
And so forth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Without the guidelines, without the Facebook guidelines and the Facebook jail that you go in, and I mean, I even every once in a while I get restricted, and I'm like, I didn't even post anything. I could share something that Canon posted, and then next thing you know, I'm flagged for a month and I can't post a video, and I'm like, it wasn't even me. I shared something that somebody else had on there, and I'm always fearful that all of us would do all this work and we'd all get together, and next thing you know, this Facebook group gets shut down because of somebody posting a bunch of price questions and stuff. And I'm like, what a shame that would be, that we all spent years getting together and a lot of us didn't exchange phone numbers and emails, and it's just gone, and that connection's lost.
So I've never been in Facebook jail, just for the record. But is that a thing? Like if you talk about price, like Facebook will shut you down for real?
Well, I get all the time. I get these warnings, I guess, and these violations, and I got to go through, and then people report each other. So, I mean, I kind of like what you guys do. I mean, people don't see the stuff that goes on in the background when you get that many people involved, and it's just people complaining about each other. And sometimes I'm reviewing something and it's just silly. I'm like, I can't believe this person's offended by this, but then I've got to review it and look and approve or deny it. And then sometimes it'll be a violation straight from Facebook. And if you get enough of those, then they start restricting how many times people can post, or you could get shut down eventually. And that was my fear. So I thought, well, let's just bring everybody together. Let's get them also over there, keep this thing going, but get them over there, get them in this thing so we can all still communicate if something was to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on to Cannon's question, Cannon was wondering, so how are you different? What do you think, how are you different from, we were talking about it before the show, we're trying to get all the acronyms together. How do you think you're going to differ from the AFA, the MFACA, you're all the FWA, and then what it says, WASA, the WASA, and I think there's a few others that I'm not familiar with.
Yeah.
So what how do you think you're going to differ from that?
And I guess it's a tough question because I don't know anything about those guys. I'll be honest, in 30 some years of doing this, I've only been asked by one association to ever join them. So and it was NAFCA reached out to me, I think a year ago. for the first time. That's probably because of my exposure on the fence industry only page. So that's probably the disconnect I felt in general around with associations. I didn't know they existed really. We hear, the only one I ever heard of was American Fence Association. I didn't even know the acronyms. I didn't know AFA and stuff like that. You'd see the logo and stuff like that, but I didn't know anything about them. And I know it's a great organization because if you do, hear any of them talking, you hear Sam and Tony Thornton, and I probably got to watch some of them only because of this. But before I got involved in this, I didn't even know who any of them were. And now I realize these are just genuine dudes that are just literally trying to help the industry. And but the word's not it. And I can't fix that, on that end. And that was the disconnect I felt, which goes back to the question of why I started this. I didn't start this because I wanted to compete with somebody else or I didn't like somebody else. I didn't know they existed, and now it's picked up momentum. And I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying, the connection with everybody. And
So to be fair though, my question was like, what is your mission statement? Do you have like a vision? Like, what is the FWA? Like, how do you define it? What is its purpose? You see what I'm saying?
I think what's going to be fun is when we get that guy that I was talking about earlier, that we got to help and watch grow from, you go through the ranks of being an individual. I want everybody to sign up as a free individual member if they don't have a business. I want them to do that. I don't want them to pay for a membership if they're not a business or a supplier or something like that. I want to watch someone grow from that level to have 10 trucks. And my fear is that, and when I, just from somebody that's done that, I know I've made every mistake anybody could possibly make, probably 10 times. And I don't want them to make the same ones. If they do, we want them to learn from it. And I'm afraid that I see all these other stuff out there with education, and we're training them on how to build fence, how to set posts, and the difference between dry packing. And I didn't know what dry packing was until, by the way, all this either. But, and that and using concrete using string lines or don't use string lines. We're teaching them how to build fence. But that doesn't do them any good if they're not in business a year to 3 years from now. What happens? What happens if you take a guy from one truck and he starts off and he's just kicking butt? He goes through a year, and now you built him up to 3 trucks or 4 trucks, and he looks like he's just kicking ass. I mean, he's just going at it. And all of a sudden, he hasn't filed any of his taxes. He hasn't filed his use tax. He wasn't pulling any permits. He didn't understand about contracts, and he did all this work. And now he was still structured as a sole proprietor, and he's got $1 million running through his bank account. And he didn't have a contract in place we have a cliche clause or a digging clause or, something like that. And he didn't understand about the call, how important it was that even though you didn't think there was a utility line there, you don't have anything covering you in there. You didn't call 811 and call in the digging. Now, all of a sudden, you went from $200,000 in your bank to owing $200,000. So, and the suppliers that nurtured this guy, along with that, the suppliers that nurtured this guy, built this relationship, are sitting there with him owing him $50,000 and so on. And, throughout the ranks, next thing you know, this guy's just gone. He was just booming. He's gone. And 5 years later, he calls us all up and says, hey, man, or calls his supplier up, Master Halco or something, say, hey, Billy, remember me? And they're like, yeah, what happened to you? And he tells you some sob story about how, let me tell you about my divorce and this and this and this. And I'm back into the business again, though. So that's what the vision's going to be, is when we got people that we actually helped not only go from 1 to 5 trucks, but go from 1 to 5 trucks and be structured in the end of it. Not just know how to build fence. Not just know how to build fence.
Wow.
I think we're getting a lot of that, man. Tony Thornton is starting his consulting thing with, no better guy than Tony to learn these things from. And, Sean has his fence academy that not only shows you how to build fence, but how to run your business and structure it. And I know Ken has learned a lot from that. And I've through osmosis got a lot of that off of him and I talking. So I think there's guys out there that are doing that. You're starting to fall into that category with them of, hey, this guy, he's trying to, what is Sean said it all the time, rising tide raises all ships.
Yeah. Sean is my idol.
I spoke to you like a year ago, maybe.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, Brian, man, thinking about having you on the show and this and that. And you're like, man, I really don't know what I talk about. I'm really passionate about, people getting their permits and licensing out here and not building fence illegally. So I remember I got off the phone with you and I'm like, well, I called Cannon. I'm like, I don't know if Brian's going to really have a whole lot to talk about. Now here you are with this fire's been lit. And I think it's been because of stuff like this show and the exposure Sean's got and the exposure Joe Evers has and Caleb and, the AFA and Tony and, Dan Wheeler's podcast, all that stuff, man, it's just snowballing. Yeah. It's, I love it, man. I love it. We were talking earlier, you just want to talk fence, and this is a great way for me to talk fence and not have, my fiance be like, you're talking fence again.
Yeah. But even getting into the when you get into the getting regulations and things like that, I'm a little standoffish on the standardization and stuff on that as well, because I think different parts of the country don't understand. They don't have to deal with the bureaucracy that we have over on this end. And if we're not careful, if we don't, we're also worried about sometimes about having standardization come in and then ASTM and all this stuff. And the only way you can enforce that is with regulations and things like that. And once that happens, you take a job that you guys are used to doing where you can go out and set the posts, dig and set posts in one day. Once those regulations kick in, there's no more digging and setting posts. You're digging and you're going home and waiting for an inspector to show up and look in your holes. And
Diamond Head, Mississippi's like that, man. Yeah. Diamond Head, Mississippi is not too far from me, and you dig holes, and they got to come by and inspect the holes.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah. I'm like, all right. But then, in a way, I kind of like that, and I'm saying this, and I hear it said so many times. Well, we're the only people in my area that does this. I hear it constantly. It's like, if that was the case, I don't know, man. I think we need to just educate, and get out there and do the right thing. And then other fence companies will start going, well, wait a second. If he can do it, I can do it. Like me, I charge for my consultations. I had a lady today say, you're the only company that does that. So I'm going to call somebody that is going to come out for free.
Yeah.
Perfect. I said, that's fine.
I don't know.
In the back of my mind, I'm saying, you're not my customer, But eventually these guys are going to go, man, gas is high. Our time is worth something. I'm working out in the field all day. I'm having to leave my job a man short and make sure my guys are doing so I can go run and meet Miss Smith. I should get paid for that. Because it costs. You come back, the guy's nailed up section of fence wrong. Now you're having to tear it down. Why? Because you were around the corner doing an estimate.
I think that would be all over the place, man. We could probably find 50, or probably there are probably more people that say you should go for free, but I'm sure you'd have people all over the place saying, yeah, you should charge. Some saying you shouldn't charge. We never charge. That would be that'd be a tough sale out here, though. I've never heard of anybody charging for an estimate. But
look, I stick to my guns.
Yeah.
And Cannon will tell you if somebody's like, oh, I'm not doing that. You're too expensive. I'm not. I got a canned message I send them.
I think I seen it once.
Thank you for considering the fence cane.
Yeah.
A staple. The North Shore is leading. Fence installing a staple company for the last 23 years.
Yeah.
Only person to give an in writing lifetime workmanship warranty.
Yeah. And that's residential. It's like in our town, it's a lot of commercial. There's very little residential. So you couldn't tell MGM Grand Hotel you're going to charge them for a quote. They don't even have a system in place to pay you when you're done hardly. So, that's before you're done. It takes you 2 months to get paid after,
Yeah, well, that's the thing, man. It's more region based.
Yeah.
You do whatever works in your region. Just because you can't do it in Vegas doesn't mean we can't do it here in Mandeville, Louisiana.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And once you set that, the next thing you know, everybody else will follow suit. That's what you need, everybody else to follow suit on it.
Well, look, if I go 20 miles east to Slidell, I barely get anybody to pay me for an estimate.
Yeah.
Because of the economy there and so forth. They won't do it. But from where I am in West, I can get it all day long.
Yeah. I'd stay down there. For sure.
Yeah, that's where most of my work is. I don't do a whole lot in Slidell. Yeah. Those aren't my customers. Those are people that have came up from New Orleans East and stuff which is the bad side of New Orleans, and they've moved into Slidell. So, it's just not my customer base.
Yeah.
Dan, don't we have an agenda, or like a written?
Thank you.
I'm kidding, bro. I'm kidding. But I can't ask random questions about contracts. But listen, if we're gonna do this, let's talk about those totes from Home Depot, Brian.
About the what?
You know the totes, the plastic totes.
Oh shoot, man! I got more messages on those things than it's. I feel like that's the only why people are communicating friends with me is to try to figure out where I got all those things for our warehouse up in the front for the materials.
Dude,
sorry.
they're awesome.
Didn't you get them?
We got 50 now, okay? And I just called my guy at the Home Depot, and I said, his name's Floyd. I said, hey, Floyd, listen, man, I got 50 of these. I'm trying to get to 25. He said, well, this is what I can do. He said, I can order you 12. But I can't order more than that. He said, if we pay for about 30 right now, he said 12 will come in, and then the rest will come in pretty soon thereafter. So I think in the next couple of weeks I'll be up to 75, and I'm so excited, dude.
So I wish we had a picture to show everybody what we're talking about, because
my goodness,
talking about beach bags or something, but no, we're talking about the big plastic containers that stores all the fittings and the parts in our fencing warehouse. Yeah,
they work great.
So imagine a Dan. I don't know if you've seen these totes, but imagine it's a Rubbermaid, like you put your winter sweaters in, like you used to do back in the day. I don't know, maybe people still do that, but we don't do that no more. But anyways, I remember growing up, we had these big, or the Christmas ornaments. Like the tote would be green and with a pink lid or a red lid, it wouldn't even match. You put all that shit in there, and you put it up in the attic until next year. Well, imagine that, okay, but like 3 times as thick. It's solid, and the top is not there, and the front is also open. It's just a big bin, and you stack them on top of each other. It's like the absolute perfect freaking fittings container. Yeah. Like, yeah, man, that's perfect, dude. It's.
I cleaned every Home Depot out from like 100 square miles from me, all those things, and then I just kept getting them when they had them new ones.
So did you find them first, or did somebody that works for you find them? Like, how did you start with them?
I don't remember. It's when I was setting up. We expanded our retail side, and the ones we had were just ugly, beat to crap. So I said, well, I want it to look nice and clean in there. And I don't remember if I went to Home Depot or if somebody that works for me went over there. But once we got, I did the same thing as you. We bought like 5 or 10 of them. I said, man, these look amazing. And then I just now every wall is covered with them.
Yes. Hey, Nathan Downs is asking. Nathan says, what's that bin called? Nathan, that bin is called a freaking amazing. That's what it's called. But it's a Rubbermaid, RUBBERMAID.
Husky.
Husky. I'm sorry, you're right.
Something, yeah.
I've got a picture of the SKU on my phone even, because I sent it to the guy at the Home Depot that order more, But look, Brian, you know this like I know this. For like a decade or 2 decades probably, chain link fittings were in these wooden bins that people were taking, everybody has the same damn wooden bins. You know what they look like, the little squares, right?
Yeah, it takes forever to build, and man, my God, we spent a whole weekend trying to build them, remember?
Yeah, you can't afford them now. I mean, wood is out of sight, I think you may have changed the way that fence warehouses look for the next 20 years. I think the next 20 years, we're going to see Rubbermaid or Husky, Husky totes from the Home Depot.
That answers that answers your last question. How am I going to change the fence industry with a Husky tote? That was it.
I tell you what.
Here we go. Drop the mic. It's done.
We're going. Nathan Downs, you want to see them? We're going. Right. We're freaking going out there. I've got my phone tonight, and Dan, I'm sorry for off topic.
Go ahead.
The lights.
We got it, Rabbit.
We're following you in.
Yeah, man, come on with us. We're gonna see these freaking totes, guys. They're awesome. They're still building gates tonight. Hey, what's up, guys? We're on My Fence Life. Yeah. All right, so here we are. Can you see this?
Yeah.
That's it. And they stack on top of each other.
You're screwing them to the wall, though, right? You still screw them to the wall?
We screwed them to so we put them in some racks. I'll show you what we did.
Oh.
It's weird. the lights are off back here, but they're in this rack. See them? So yeah, they're kind of screwed. They're not real well screwed, but they are.
We're on a field trip. I love it.
Dan, I'm sorry, bro. Dan's
No, man, you good. You good, man.
The people on the podcast can't see this. They don't know what the hell he's talking about. I'm sorry.
I'll give a visual. They're gray. They're plastic.
Did you see them though?
Yeah, they're nice, man. I like those.
Dude, they're freaking amazing. All right, sorry. You guys.
All right, no, I'm going in. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going.
All right, here we go. Brian, we're going to show you mine.
Dan's like, I'm not going with you this time. I'm not going with you.
Dan, what else do we have on our questionnaire that you have typed up for us?
Well, we're going to find out how he thinks I don't want to say change the fence industry, but how are you going to help move it forward? And how are you going to help make the fence industry better, like the AFA is trying to do, and NAFTA is trying to do, and all these other guys that are trying to get information out there and on how to be better fence guys and better staying guys and better businessmen.
Yeah.
What is going to be your contribution? And say, hey, you know what? We need to invite Brian with the FWA because his mindset's the same as everybody else. He's moving here, we're moving here. This organization is moving here, but everybody's moving forward and almost forcing us to conform to what's going on. For the good, obviously. Yeah. So what do you think? At the end of the day, where do you think your place is going to be?
Well, what's nice about it is I guess I'm just like you guys. I'm learning. I'll be honest. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just I'm winging it half the time. I'm calling. I'm talking to you. Dan, I love that I can call you when I want. And I know there's a lot of resources. I can call Canon. I'm reaching out to people. I don't know anything about vinyl, wood, some of this AG fence. I know obviously I'm in the fence industry. I could build one, if I had to. Obviously we could do it. We don't do a lot of it. So without me reaching out to all of you guys, I'm just, I'm just talking to somebody saying, yeah, we can do this, we can do that. So I think I'm going to be great at connecting people. I want to bring the AG world into our world as well. I'm not sure why I'm not sure why they're out there on their own and they're feeling like they have to do another show or something back up there. I'd like to see them come in here. And I've been talking to a lot, especially through Masters and stuff like that. And I think I'm gonna do a good job at connecting people, and hopefully someday somebody else will be sitting where I am, and they'll continue on with the vision, and they'll even do it better. And maybe the association will have enough money to hire someone that knows what they're doing. I don't know, and actually get it organized. But I think you're gonna appreciate the fact that I do go rogue. I think Canon and I talked about that. A little bit. I don't mind going rogue and saying, "Hey, let's try this. If it fails, I'll put up a what was it? Fenceauction.com. I put that up. If everybody wanted to try to use it, if people don't use it, I'll take it down and I'll try something else. Because you don't know what's going to work in the fence industry. You just don't know how it's unpredictable. We've got people that that don't go online, and it's an antiquated business. We got guys that can barely set their computers up, and and then we got guys that can build websites. So it's going to be hard to figure out what's going to work. And we're all on Facebook. It's weird how the fence industry is on Facebook. We're social media platforms behind everybody else. If you think about it, and that's where we live kind of a little bit in the fence industry. So, and I'm in that. I'm in the same. I'm an old guy still on Facebook, and I'm just now getting into TikTok. You know what I mean? And I don't know how to use Instagram yet. If we all start talking about LinkedIn, I have a LinkedIn profile. I even paid the additional money to see whatever features that was, but I don't use it. Like a lot of us in our industry. So I think you're going to see some changes, not just from me. You're going to see it from all the other associations are going to kick into high gear because they're going to say, hey, Brian had to start this thing up and everybody else is talking about it. These other associations are working pretty hard and they're going to start asking themselves why. And they're going to realize there was a disconnect and we weren't getting out there. So I think it's not just going to see coming from me. You're going to see the industry change because they're going to be more on the ball as well. So you're going to see them reaching out with the resources that you need. And that's a win for me too. That's a win for all of you guys, and it, if one of these other associations can actually step up and do it better, do it better. I'm doing this for fun. You know, yeah. I'm enjoying it. So no hard feelings at my end. If somebody else, I'm putting all my information out there, copy me, build it better, invest more money into it. I think that's great. And that's going to make, in the end, we're going to have a stronger, better community in the fence industry. Nothing negative can come from me doing this for a year or two and then going out of business. Nothing. All on the end of it, all that's going to happen is we have a stronger community and everybody's doing a better job.
Yeah, and you'll be known as that FWA guy.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to affect my business. Las Vegas Fence is going to make the same amount of money whether people think that FWA was a flop or not. And I think that's the best part of this. I'm doing this because I can, and I'm enjoying it, and I don't have anybody telling me what I'm doing it the way I feel like I want to do it. And it's a nice little bit of freedom, to be able to do it and listen to people and say, hey, that's a good idea. Let's try it,
So, hey, Brian, people, we talked about this too. I thought my internet was messed up when I said, hey, I like when the guests are a little bit rogue. I like those people. I'm glad you heard me. But listen, did you hear me about this? And I wanted to talk about this. People a lot of times don't understand. I want you to know I appreciate what you're doing, okay? I like it. The website is freaking dope. I have told so many people, like, man, I don't know how much time and money has gone into this, but I know it's been a lot because it's dope. And there's all kinds of information. I mean, I can flip through document after document after document after document. I've thought about starting over personally, looking at your contracts.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. I'm curious, like day to day, I know this kind of stuff never seems to end. Just like running a fence business. You're never off work, you're never away from it. Even when you're away, you're not away. What's your day to day? Like, what's your split right now with this FWA growing and gaining popularity and gaining momentum? And I hope this show helps that platform. I truly do, because you're helping us. What is your day to day? Like, what's your breakdown? How much time are you spending at Las Vegas, and how much time are you spending at the FWA?
I say every weekend is on FWA for sure. And during the day, I probably get about 20 different calls or email conversations going on regarding FWA. So I say percentage wise, a good 65% of my time is spent on Las Vegas Fence, and the rest is FWA during the day. And it is a commitment. It's a commitment, but I'm lucky, like I said, I'm lucky to have the freedom to do it. I have a strong staff here, that knows what they're doing.
And what percentage would you say is spent on TikTok?
Yeah. Well, that's another story. I mean, then there's another 4 or 5 hours a day on TikTok. But believe it or not, I know you see all those TikTok videos, and you would think that I spend a lot of time. I probably spend more time watching them than I do making them. I make about 3 TikToks if you look at them, most of them in my car. I make about 3 TikToks in my car on the way to work, and then they're always in the morning and the evenings. And sometimes I'll make one or 2 on the way home. That's it. And so one take. It's always about one take. Very often, unless I say something really stupid, do I redo it? And it's typically just one take, and I just boom, and that's it. Yeah.
So, man, I know that feeling. So you spend about 65% of your time on Las Vegas Fence.
Yeah.
Dude, Cannon will tell you, man. We talked the other day, and he's like, "Man, you on top of this my fence light stuff." But
yeah,
it takes time, man. And then on top of that, the people that are in your inbox just trying to learn and find things out from it, it takes a lot. If it's not taken away from your business, it's taken away from your family. It's not taken away from your family. It's taken away from your relaxation time, your hobby. It's a big sacrifice, Well,
this becomes our hobby, though. That's the thing. Like, this becomes our hobby. When people say, hey, what's your hobby? It kind of sucks to be like, talking in front of a camera and making TikTok videos and stuff like that. That's like not a great. That's not what they expect you to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, never mind.
What's your hobby? I get off of work and I talk about work.
Yeah. They don't, But Dan and I were talking the other day, and there's 2 of us, which that makes it. I like the fact there's 2 of us because, it's like in marriage when one of us is 80, the other's 20, and one of us, you know what I mean, or whatever. Anyways. Look, for every 1 hour that we go live on the air, there's, Dan, what do you think? 8 hours behind the scenes probably that happen?
Oh, easy, man. Between lining up guests, getting information from, coming up with topics, sending an email, dealing with Kelvin and getting thumbnails made, and rendering videos and uploading them to YouTube and stripping the audio off of them and sending them to all the platforms for podcasts, writing the description, maintaining the outbound links so we can keep track of how many people we're sending where. It's a job keeping the website up to date and fresh, and man, it's a job. And then on top of that, we got to run our normal business.
Yeah.
Sometimes Ken and I talk, and we're talking about my fence life.
Yeah.
And then on
top of that, you get other people that want your help, and that's nice. That's great. We love. That's why we started doing this. We like talking fence, and we just no different than the FWA. I feel like we like to help people, and what we have found is the further that we push. There's a down here, Mitchell. I love the guy, man. He's in my backyard. He built a fence like right here in my neighborhood. He hears what I have to say, but I like him. You know what I mean? But me sharing some of what we're doing helps him to push, which makes me push. You know what I mean? It's like it's a cycle. And I find that the more that I sit here and participate in these settings, and we talk about fence, and we give information away, and we talk about what's working for us, or the problems that we have, and then people call us with their own problems, but they also call us with their own solutions as well. You know what I mean? Right. So it's like, I don't know. It takes a lot of time, but man, we gain so much knowledge.
Yeah.
Because of these platforms that we're involved with. Yeah. And I'm sure the FWA is the same way. It has to be.
Yeah. But like you said, it's not just a hobby. We enjoy doing this. Like we get to do something we enjoy. And let's face it, our kids and wives only want to hear about fence so much. So now we got a chance to go ahead and shut the door. Tell them, hey, we're especially for you guys, hey, shut the door and say, hey, don't bother me right now. I'm talking fence and you're doing it for work. So now you got a reason to do it again at night. Right. Give me another beer. I'm working. I'm talking fence.
Yes. Yes.
Well, we'll go somewhere, and it's funny. The majority of my friends are all either business owners.
Yeah.
And it's not fence guys. I mean, I got friends that own roofing companies, floor companies, they have tile businesses, a print shop, a marketing company. Benji and I become real good friends Benji over at Clever Fox.
Yeah.
And I won't talk fence, but I'll talk business.
Yeah.
And we'll go to dinner with one of those couples, and we're talking business. And Pepper will be like, why are you talking fence? I'm like, I'm not talking fence. I'm talking business, entrepreneurship. This guy's got this all screwed up. And you know what? I might learn something from this cat.
Yeah.
Because of what I'm telling him, he might have a completely different view of it. And I'm like, wait, I'm doing this all wrong. Like on my fencing, man. If you went back, I remember I went to Caleb with Stain and Seal Experts. that university, what was that? February was a year. Remember that, Cannon?
Yeah, Stain and Seal University, February 2021 in Lebanon, Tennessee.
Yeah, in Lebanon, yes. And I left there and I looked at my son because him and I rode up there together. And I said, man, we built a pretty shitty fence, bro.
Yeah.
These guys, I said, we need to change this. And at the time we had the show, and I'm learning and I've evolved and it's a completely different deal. The way we build fence, we're building fence to ASTM standards. We're doing things completely different.
Yeah.
I got a son that used to work with me in the business, and he's on a extended vacation right now. And when he gets back, he's going to be like, well, what the hell's going on? I talked to him on the phone, and he's like, man, it's not even going to be the same place.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not. And it's constantly changing, constantly.
And it's interesting how if you're doing it, like maybe it's just you and your father, or you and your brother, and you have a company, or maybe the handyman that's doing fencing. It's interesting to see the level and sometimes how precise they are when they're just one or two guys. And then once you grow beyond that, and you've got an overhead, and you've got it takes 3 trucks just to break even, and you don't make money until your 4th and 5th truck is actually working and making money, to where you're like, we have to get the production in. And it's interesting to see how it just changes. And that same person that was so particular, that was so particular about how every nail or whatever had to line up across the board. Now he's just like, you're a little bit more forgiving, of those things when they have to knock them out. So I love to watch those guys and say, hey, I would have done this. And why did you set that post? It looks like that 4th post over was, those were, you could have made that a little bit wider spacing, or, the wood, why'd you run the rail that way, this, that. It's interesting to see how one guy's perception is completely different than another one. On the fence.
Look, man, because of Sean and that equalizer.
Yeah.
From Mr. Fence Tools.
Yeah.
Every section we do now is all blended. Everything's all the same size. And I never thought about it should be that way. Now, chain link, when I used to do chain link, yeah. I had a little chart, a little cheat sheet. We got this many feet. All right, they got to be this. Roll with it. Never thought about doing that with wood. Never, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we even now with chain link, I mean, when you're talking production, you're setting them approximately 10 feet or less, 10 feet apart. You get down to the last 26 feet or something, you'll divide it out. But other than that, it's, and then some people are just so, so picky about it that they'll just say, no, I got to go back a good 100 feet. And I'm going to set them all at 9 foot, 7.5 inches to make sure that you can't tell. And then, but the guys that are just knocking it out production wise, they're just going up until the last 3 posts and then dividing it out. So it's
when we do a production job, it's different, man. We will use our measure wheel, just roll it 10 foot, boom, 10 foot, boom, 10 foot, boom, 10 foot, boom.
Line on the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. Somewhere in here, before the string's even there, like somewhere, boom, there's a freaking post going. You know what I mean? and then, for me, like I don't know, dividing that stuff out is hard. First of all, you know what I mean. You measure it and it's in feet and inches. It might be like 42 foot and 7 inches, and you divide that out by 5, and it tells you like 9.2. What the hell is 0.2?
Yeah, point.
At 12.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So like, you know what I mean? It's a hard.
That's why I love it. That's why I love the equalizer for wood, man.
Yeah,
I love that equalizer.
You cannot ask.
Do that and not even think about it. It does it for me.
I could just picture Cannon out at a job, and he's got his phone out. He's like, okay, 9.2. The hell am I going to do with 9.2?
And then I've done like 0.2 divided by 12. Trying to figure out like how many. That's not right either. I don't think. You know what I mean? And then I just end up eyeballing it like, damn. I grew up thinking this, like, if you can't make it right, make it look right. You know what I mean? And really, at the end of the day, ain't that all that matters? If you can't make it right, make it look right.
It's a fence. So, it's not a cabinet inside of a $2 million house. And sometimes people forget that. It's a fence. And sometimes you see flaws in it that there's no way a homeowner is ever going to even, is going to care. Or sometimes you're spending a lot of time and effort trying to level or straighten a post that maybe was in this position because there was something in the ground or something, and it's driving you crazy, but it's not driving anybody else crazy except for you.
And sometimes it's straight opposite. The shit that you don't notice, it's the first thing they notice.
But I mean, how many?
So look,
anybody went to your house and say, "Yeah, man, that was a great party, man. Thanks for having me over." But did you see the fence at Cannon's house? No, man, no. I mean, in the back. I mean, seriously though, could he not have spaced those posts out correctly? I mean, I don't know if he could barbecue at his house again. I guess some fencers would do it, right?
Yeah. I've been at a crawfish bowl, and I'm standing looking at the post on the patio, and the fence is behind it, and I'm like, all them boards are crooked. I'm like, Dylan, come look at this. And
start losing.
Walks up and she's like, are y'all looking at the fence? I'm like, look at this. Can you believe they did this?
we got to do like a candid camera where we just get a property where we just put the world's worst fence around the backyard and like we did it, and invite all of our fence friends over for a barbecue. Just watch these guys just sitting back here trying to eat a hot dog.
Yeah, we went ahead and threw this fence up real quick.
And act like we're so proud of it. What anybody says.
That would be amazing. That's awesome.
We shouldn't have announced it here, though. That's for sure.
Well, Brian, what else? What else is there to you that we have to know, that we should know before we let you go?
Yeah.
What do you want to close this with?
I think I'm an open book. I'm excited. I mean, I was excited to come on here, and like he was saying, a year ago, Dan and I talked, and I don't even think we were even discussing this. So that would have just been me talking about marketing and stuff. But I mean, I do want people to get involved, and like I said, just go on to fenceworkers.org. Go on there. If you're not a business, I mean, we'd love you to get signed up as a business, because that's what's making it possible for me to actually get the resources to hopefully get more people involved and more people and more time, and somebody in here that just dedicated to uploading the forums and doing that and getting the newsletters out that we want, and and advancing it on. So it does take a community, but it doesn't work even without all the individuals coming on there. So if you are a fence installer or something, just go on there. And when you're ready, at least the forums and stuff's available. And send me some messages and tell me what you want to see, because I'm just going off of what I know from this side of the country, which is completely different than the problems you guys have to deal with.
So fenceworkers.org. Are you saying there's 2 membership classes? Is that what you're saying?
You can go on there and select. I mean, right when you hit join, you're going to be able to select a individual membership, which is just your basic membership, and you access the same access. Or you could select a business membership, and that's going to allow you up to 3 other people with business memberships, and it'll change your status in there as well. And and you're going to see some changes pretty soon in the actual website too. So it's going to be a lot more exposure for people that are business members and the supplier members. And I'm going to do my best to connect those people, because the individuals that are just the workers and stuff, they're looking for different information than the businesses are. So we're going to do a good job trying to connect the suppliers, rather than you going down to Home Depot and Lowe's, and we're going to figure out what we got to do to connect them and build a little bit stronger relationship between them. And then there's the suppliers. So we need the suppliers to sign up as well, because without everybody, it just doesn't work. And then the service providers, like the Fox and all the other people that, everything from marketing and websites, SEO people and things like that. They need to get on there too, because it's going to be a lot of exposure. Those people are going to get a little bit more exposure than the individuals, because that's why they're paying a little bit of money to get in there and get involved in it, and hopefully get connected. But that's also that's going to go towards, helping get those newsletters out and getting the actual connection, getting the old platforms designed a little bit better, so the communication's there.
I mean, that fence group, I think they kicked me out of there because I was sharing this show in there. Fence Professionals in the United States was the first.
Oh, really?
Group that I joined, and what do you call it? If it wouldn't have been for that Facebook group, I wouldn't have found Rachel over at myself.
Yeah, he's
awesome. I
awesome.
was searching all over because I had seen an ad on Instagram, so I started Googling tire kickers and know before you go, and nothing. I'm like, man, I know I saw this ad. And so I'm like, let me look on Facebook. So I found that Fence Professionals group, got in, asked, and next thing you know, people started tagging Rachel.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. Got connected with them because of a Facebook group.
Yeah.
Then I went ahead and was complaining about my aluminum supplier. Now, this is years ago. This is 2-3 years ago. And some guy reached out to me from Stevens Pipe and Steel, Scott Wilkerson up in the Kentucky branch. He was like, man, where are you located? I'll sell you aluminum.
Yeah.
I can ship it down to Fort Allen. Yeah. Okay, give me a quote. And I put that stuff in for 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I put in, because of a connection I made with a supplier and a software. I'm still dealing with my salesman.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Yeah, we still use them. And I know I have a lot of setup stuff to do. It just takes, like everything else, time to get in there and get it all structured correctly. But like you were saying, you found that aluminum supplier. Honestly, I don't even care if they're a member. If you reached out to me and said, I got this great guy, he can help people out, and I'm gonna actually still gonna throw their name out there. I'm not, this isn't about necessarily just them becoming members. It doesn't work in the long run if everybody doesn't become a member, but I'm still gonna put them on there. We're gonna say, hey, this is the best place to buy widgets, or those bins. I'm gonna still share the information, and I'm not gonna look and see if this person's a member. If it's something that's valuable for all of us, we're going to share the information, and hopefully that person sees the value, you know, in it when all of a sudden our members or other people that are in there start calling them like, hey, FWA really helped me out. I'm going to go ahead and become a supplier, you know, in a membership and upgrade my membership. So that's the whole goal. The whole goal is for people to work their way through that individual all the way up to being a business. And some people go from business to supplier, you know, and then supplier to manufacturer. I mean, this is so hopefully they work their way and they keep upgrading as they go, and they get added to those different lists, and we can start, you know, drawing the lines and connecting all these people.
Yeah, yeah. But I find when you make people reach in their pocket, it makes them be serious about what they're doing too.
Yeah, yeah.
You know? So, you know, I feel like charging for a membership I'm 100% for that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if I'm going to pay for something, I'm going to be interested in it.
Yeah, yeah. And there's going to be a lot more exposure, obviously, for everybody that does want to pay and upgrade their memberships to a business supplier or a service provider. So, I mean,
look, you and I talked about that. I had so many people in my inbox trying to learn about my automations and stuff. I started charging for Zooms.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, you know how many Zooms I'm doing?
Yeah. We get a lot of questions.
If you're not willing to pay for an hour of my time to find out how I can help automate your system or whatever, then you really don't want to know.
Yeah.
You know?
And I feel bad because sometimes I get all these messages in there and I can't reply, or I mean to go back. I read one and I'm like, oh man, I really want to respond to this, but then something happens and then 3 more messages or 4 more messages, and then I go to work the next morning, and then a week later, 2 weeks later, I'm like, oh man, this was from March 12th. Man, why?
Look, and it's not that you don't want to help, but man, it's just so much.
Yeah. So then I send a message, hey, sorry for the delay. But it's what it is. Yeah. Yeah. I think they understand.
Man, it's easy. It's easy to forget people. Hey, Brian, thank you for what you're doing. What can Dan and I do to help you? Is there anything that we can do specifically to help support this?
I mean, you guys are doing it. I mean, honestly, like I said, I've never done one of these before. So just having me on here and letting me talk, and you guys, you know, being involved and seeing the excitement that you guys have, which is pretty similar. Yeah. Pretty similar to me, and being able to talk about fencing, and I love that I could call you guys, you know, if I do have something, and maybe as we develop this thing a little bit better and we get more features and we're going to be changing the website, we could come back on and have some discussions a little bit more about how they can utilize the features of it, because I don't want to be one of those associations where we offer all this stuff and you have all these benefits and we don't tell you about them. So I do want to get on there and figure the connection, and maybe when it comes down time to, you know, to get a little bit further along, I'd love to reach out to you guys on the what it takes for that side of the country to get involved a little bit more.
Yeah, man, definitely.
Yeah, and get you guys to Vegas. That's what you got. You ask what you can do. Get on an airplane. You guys come down for a weekend to Vegas. That's what we got to do.
Yeah, right? I've never been, and it's coming for the purpose of. Yeah, I'm down. Yeah. Well, Brian, man, thanks for coming on here. I guess we'll let you go. Thanks for this is my first time being on my cell phone on Be Live, and I think we figured out the riddle, and you were here. I gotta have 2 computers. So
hey, you saw Chris Steele. He's like, man, that light's really working for you.
Is that from your phone?
What light is he talking about? Is it the one in front of me or the one behind me?
One in front of you.
Oh yeah, it's a whole ring light. You can see it.
Yeah, you're glowing.
Well, you're nice and bright, man.
Huh.
It's always there, but I guess my phone just does it differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, man, it was great talking to you, Brian. I look forward to learning more about FWA and seeing what we can do. And if you need us, man, just let us know. The same with the other associations, AFA, NAFCA, all those guys. Look, man, hit us up. We're just trying to raise the tide.
Yeah, you know? Me too. Give me a call. If one of these guys want to talk and see what we're doing, I'm not going to hide it. I'll tell, you know, anybody wants to reach out and have a meeting or something, and maybe we can work together on something, or maybe I'm doubling up on something they're doing. I can spend my time on something else a little more valuable to help. So definitely same thing. I'll say that out to everybody else too. Just, you know, give me a call. If you don't have my number, get a hold of Dan and Cannon and they'll give it to you. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we're going to give it to them. We're going to put that number.
Yep. And Brian, hey man, thanks for spreading T-shirts across the United States.
Oh.
That's freaking cool.
That's been so much fun, man. I love the pictures, man. I love seeing people out there building fence with the Las Vegas fence shirts. That was so much fun.
Yeah,
That's
everywhere.
insane, man. I see them all over the place.
I know, it's awesome. I know. We're gonna do the FWA shirt here run pretty soon. So I'll let you guys know. We're gonna do another one just like that, except the FWA shirts.
Yeah, I got one of my guys that still wears a Jackson Finch shirt. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, well, it's blue.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you got to take that off. You can't be doing this.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Hey, well, Brian, hey, thank you, buddy. Have a great night, man. And I just will let you go.
Thanks, guys. All right, we'll talk to you later.
Hey, see you, bud.
Appreciate it.
All right, man.
Dano.
Are we off?
Yeah. Well, he's gone. We're still here though.
Okay. He clicked off that quick?
Yeah. Man, what a guy.
Well, I think we're still on, man.
Yeah.
Pretty sure we're still on. Oh, we got 23 people going. I thought they were clicking off. Yeah, man, it was a good show. It was. I think Brian's doing some great things, man. And I don't think he's trying to step on anybody's toes. I've seen some comments about, the AFA is, it's like FWA. And look, man, I think they all have their different angle, and they're all trying to accomplish the same thing. Maybe some personalities clash over here that they don't clash here, or whatever the case might be. So, I like it, man. I'm just glad what it's doing for the fence industry.
Yeah, I don't like using the word they a whole lot, man. I feel like, look, I'm a member of the AFA, and I'm also a member of the FWA, and so to me that's we. You know what I mean? Like we are that association. Once you have a membership, you are that association. You can participate as much or as little as you want. But I did not know, Dan. I hate to say this, I did not know that there were two membership options. I knew there was a free one. Which one do you think I picked? The free one or the paid one?
The paid.
The paid? No, I went with Dan. You know better. I didn't know there was a paid option, so I feel bad about that. I'm gonna have to circle back.
You want the free one? I haven't even signed up yet. Brian hit me up in my inbox and was like, "Hey, do this and that," and I really hadn't had a chance to do it. So he was like, "Why don't you wait? I got some awesome stuff happening." So
well, you need to head over to it's fenceworkers.org. You sign up there first, and then after that, you go to FWA Live, and you sign up there as well. And the Live is it's like Facebook, kind of. The old prior to Facebook, all these websites with the forums where you could chat, and they have threads. You remember that?
Yeah,
it's a lot like that. Really cool. Chris Steele says, boy, that man is not spending more money than he needs to.
He's talking about you. I see Matt Warner's checking in. Matt Warner, the culture guy. That guy knows culture. He's checking in from El Paso.
He knows how to build Hey, Matt Warner knows how to build a culture, and he also knows how to avoid a tire kicker.
Yes, he does. He knows how to do that for sure. Let's see. What did Joseph say? He's got a lot to say. Not sure if
he
guys
wants to see a show. Justice says he wants to see a show about the customer experience from the beginning to the end, all the different tools, processes, platforms that we use, et cetera, et cetera.
Maybe go watch our automation show. It's got a lot of that on there.
Yes, about 4 weeks ago, we had a show that was heavily, that's a great place to start, Joseph, but it was heavily geared towards what you're asking, the different systems and softwares and processes. But I guess to answer that question a little bit here, without doing a whole show, Dan and I, we use the same CRM system. We both use Job Nimbus. We both use tools like My Salesman to help customers get budget prices, prior to us connecting with them. We use programs like ArtSite for getting fast quotes.
Yeah.
We use
That's what you
DocuSign
said.
and HelloSign. Simply voice over IP system. Yeah.
Yeah, we use that for our phone system. Which, man, do you have the desk phones?
Not yet.
Bruh, game changer. I can go ahead and hit on the intercom on my phone for my sales guy. I thought he was in the office and he wasn't. And it must have rang his office and then it rang his cell phone. And I'm like, hey, man, I need you to come in my office. He's like, I'm on an estimate. And I'm like, what? It was great. So, yeah, the phone system is nice.
Yes,
Real
sir.
nice.
Yes, sir.
Real nice. And I haven't
Hey,
had
well,
any
Dan.
issue recording. So,
Well, Dan, I will look into that. I did sign up for Sunlight Financial today. That's a step in the right direction. Joseph, Sunlight Financial. We like Sunlight.
yeah, we love so
But
much.
anyway,
I had a conversation with Harf today because I canceled. They're all freaked out.
oh, here we go.
Yeah,
Here we go.
But I told them, I said, I've done almost what I did in the past 3 years with them. I've almost done it in the past 2 months with Sunlight because it's easy, integrated with my CRM.
When you're charging people a 25% APR, okay,
Right.
and you're using my subscription and my program and my website to fund other companies' customers. It's a problem. It's a whole situation.
Well, you want to know what the response to that was? Well, that's because you have a podcast and you have a lot of people that are going to your website and clicking on the financing, and I'm like, okay.
Oh man,
I was just like, whatever, you know.
Yes, sir.
He signed up with our site today. Dylan is like this close to having ours ready, the wood portion. Then we're gonna start working on aluminum. But yeah, it takes a little bit to get set up. It was a little more than I anticipated. But I put that in Dylan's court, and I'm like, hey, man, you need to handle this and make it happen. He's making it happen. I'm really impressed with it. Really impressed with it. I like how when it makes a drawing, it's almost like a set of plans. You can put a legend in the bottom, all kinds of stuff, man. I really, really like it. And we're hoping the way we're going to do it, because our site isn't integrated with Job Nimbus yet. I think what we're going to do, Cannon, is price it on the job, get them to sign. Yes, I want to move forward. Get Kirsten, send them an invoice for half, and get it paid, and then we'll go ahead and get it into Job Nimbus. We're trying to work on that right now until they can integrate it. But they're working on an API for that, so it'll be pretty sweet. Anyway.
Well, hey, great evening, Dan. I like the show. I like this Brian. What's his last name?
Frederickson. I don't know. Dylan's good with that kind of stuff, and he was like trying to sound it out to me. I'm like, just leave me alone. It's Frederick. It's Brian with FWA. There we go.
Frederickson. Hey, he's a good dude, man. He's doing a lot for us, and I appreciate it. But hey, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out with us. We'll see you next Wednesday. Next Wednesday is the week of
Rachel's coming on. Rachel Krause with my salesman.
Boom. All right. Well, Dan, hey, maybe I can figure this computer situation out by next week. Peace.
All right, man. You have a good one. Bye.